Yes, yeah, we are now live. I'm going to put this link up real quick. Let me get this. Let's see if I can share this invite, and we'll put this link up real quick for anybody who wants to come in and join us here. So on this little unemployment debate here, let's go ahead and put that link up. Boom, there's that link if you guys want to join in and that. So we are live, and let me fix this monitor again. My camera seems like I'm getting blurred and that, so I shouldn't be blurred. Okay, let's see who's all chiming in. I just got to make sure I got something going here, and let me check this real quick, and we are double checking, and boom, we are here. Okay. Looks a little blurry on the end right there, so we'll have to go with it here and that. So, okay, as you saw the title, pretty sure you guys saw the title, the big unemployment package from COVID-19. If you're a full-time worker, they got laid off during the COVID deal and expect to be called back. There's some callbacks coming up back. Just let you guys know right off the bat, there's some soft openings going on around the country. Not all states has it going right now. But if you get called back for work and refuse to go back to work, expect to lose your benefits. All right, just be flat out. Expect to lose your benefits. That's considered voluntary quitting. Unless you meet some guidelines in that certain area, and the guidelines will have to be if you're still involving with COVID-19, the coronavirus and all that stuff, or because of lack of public transportation, because the public transportation has reduced hours or not running certain routes no more during the COVID-19 scare. So make sure you read your state's guidelines when it comes to that area, when it comes to that benefits. It's very important anyway. I'm not going to give advice how to cheat on this. Don't even attempt it, basically. As for myself and my partner that lives with me, everybody knows on the main channel is Angie. We have not got called back yet, but we are expecting a phone call within a week or two for us to go back. Now, let's talk about the benefit packages that most of us has received. I talked to some coworkers and our friends that's been working either a full-time job or a part-time job, even a full-time job that don't pay much, or let's say if you're doing, or you're just working a part-time job just to pay enough to pay for your bills and that. Luckily, we live in a state, in the city that its cost of living is relatively low, basically. So we have no problem paying rent, paying light bills and all that stuff. Even we got the lights turned off right now, but that's our choice. Basically, as long as we got enough light to do this video, that'd be great too. So for the ones who are watching this on a replay, either the links won't work or something like that, but the link is available if you guys want to come in and chime in and talk about your unemployment situation during COVID-19. Only for the ones who are involved with the COVID-19 layoffs as of this point. But right now, some states are calling back their workers, and hopefully what we're going to be seeing is the package. The unemployment package really has a big incentive. I'll give you some details, but I won't go you the full details on my unemployment portion, because when you do all unemployment through COVID-19, you get two payments. One is your $600 that you're guaranteed per week during this COVID deal, and the other one is your last, based on your last full week of work or whatever your scheduled work is, basically. Hey, Tucker Jukebox, how you doing? Our package that Angie and I received, based on our final week of income, and with the $600, it's paying us huge. It's paying us huge. It paid better than actually working. But unfortunately, I missed the idea of working. That I'm going to stress that out, basically. Because right now, even if we get called back for work, we're taking a huge cut. I know it's kind of sign was tentative that you guys some people want to cheat on this, but no, because cheaters don't prosper, basically. So, like I said, don't plan to cheat. If you do get called back to work, please go back. The job market is really tight out there, especially the COVID-19. If you're expected to call back to work, go back at least. Even you're taking a pay cut. Forget it, a pay cut. Like I said, I talked to a couple coworkers myself. I talked to a couple other people, saw how generous the package is. They had no problem paying their rent full. They had no problem paying their light bills, internet bills full, and some even paid off their credit card and other debts with this money. So they're climbing away out of debt in a way if they took advantage of this. Luckily for us, our debt, any debts that we have mounted, was already paid off before we got the unemployment. Right now, we're looking at, as of right now, as of this day, be the 6th. That'll be this Wednesday. Angela and I have been unemployed for 1 full month. And we made our unemployment benefits basically paid, would give us enough money to last almost basically equivalent of up to 4 to 6 months of actual income, almost of real income. So we got like surpluses basically, but we're using it, like I said, to make sure the rent is paid, make sure the internet is paid, our our phone insurance, make sure that's all paid up, and we made sure any debts that we have is all paid off. Now we just got you're laid off. Yeah, we've been laid off for a month, basically. But with this unemployment package that most of us got, basically, is very generous. I mean, very, very generous because we received $600 a week, guaranteed, almost basically guaranteed, and that is a lot of money. $600 a week is a lot of money. Right off the bat. So yeah, Brandon, how are you doing, Brandon? But we got a nest egg that has built up ridiculously high. The last time I built up a nest egg like this is because we were scrapping and scraping, trying to save for this one, for this trip. Now, technically, I got this one trip. If things open up, we have this trip paid for, plus to pay off, if we use our credit card, we have enough to pay off that credit card, plus we have a surplus. Basically, this does not include the stimulus check that we got on top of that too. That was the real deal right there, the stimulus package too. I didn't fail to mention here, but yeah, it was a very generous package. It was not just this is mostly part-time workers got this package too. Because if you got laid off, either full-time or part-time, you got this same $600 a week package. So if you're a part-time worker, let's say if you only work, let's say 20 hours a week, or if that's your main income to help pay to get by and all that stuff, and you got laid off, you're basically guaranteed that kind of money. For the ones who are not taking advantage of it, I don't know why not. Should take advantage of it, and at least it gets you out of debt if you use it wisely. Right now, we're basically debt free. Right now, we had our debt paid off before the layoff happened, and that. So we were just starting to save up money and all that stuff, and for the trip. Now, we're guaranteeing. Basically, it's just like very generous. But eventually, will we pay the price for it? Yes, we will pay the price for it later if we end up voting the wrong way. If we end up voting the wrong way, we will all pay for this eventually in higher taxes eventually. But may not happen right now. But eventually, if we vote the wrong way, high taxes will come to pay all this off, basically. So I don't really believe in taking advantage of this, but a lot of people are taking advantage of it anyway. Just say, hey, it's hypocritical on both ends. Yes, it is kind of a way. It's a hypocritical way. But it's a way to keep your roof over your head and all that stuff to help you out till things gets back to normal, if we ever get back to normal, basically. What what happens if we don't get back to normal? Well, there's always that option of employment situations. There's always job offers out there. Because if someone decides, let's say for example, if let's say another company decided to call back their workers. Let's say company XYZ decided to reopen their factories, and they said, we're going to recall everybody back. But let's say 20 people deciding, you know what, I like this unemployment package better. I want to see if I can continue to have it by, trying to cheat or falsify. Don't try to cheat or falsify. You got to have a doctor's written. You got to have medical proof why you're still going to be unemployed through COVID-19. So don't even try to fake doctors' excuses on that. They will look at doctors' excuses, notes, hospitals, times of testing, and all that stuff. They'll do anything to protect the integrity what it's supposed to be planned for. Was there people scamming the system already? Yeah, actually, there was a few people probably scammed the system already, but the ones that was honest about it, just collect, just help you out. It's just, hey, it's better than being homeless. Basically, anything is better than being homeless, because we've been hearing a lot of, not here in my town or here in the state of Iowa, but I heard in other cities that they're evicting people who are either comes down with the virus or unemployed due to the virus. They don't even care about the unemployment packages they're receiving. They're just going to evict them anyway. And that's, to me, that's wrong if that turns out to be true. And they should be investigated if that turns out to be true anyway. But as far as we know, everybody has a backup plan, an contingency plan, and that's just how to handle the situation and that. So, my bank account, I mean, before the COVID-19, before our company closed up temporarily, we're supposed to reopen sometime soon. Our next date of opportunity would be, we got to find out till May 15th, find out what's going on. I have to stop. I have to go. I have to stop, take my 30-minute break. Back on the, stay safe, Dr. Jukebox, stay safe. Out there. Thank you for chiming in on that. Yep, we're doing fine anyway. So the benefits just, the benefits is huge. I mean, I did the math for the weekly, my weekly unemployment. If I got one quickly unemployment, real quick, I'm going to do this real quick. If Jukebox is still here, or you can watch this later. On just one weekly unemployment check for me, with my $600 plus whatever my full pay was the week before I got laid off, combined it together, and I just came up equivalent between my full unemployment for that full week, just for the full week, 1 week, came to equivalent between $18 and $20 an hour job for that whole week. That's how my income was to be as before taxes taken out. So mine would have been an equivalent of an 18.5, I think 18.5 or something like that, something in that neighborhood, per hour per week, per hour for that week for 40 hours. If I were to work a 40-hour shift for that week, and that's how much I got equivalent of for that week. My jaw just went drop. I mean, dropped big time. A lot of part-timers took advantage of this. In fact, our employer encouraged us to take the unemployment because they're not getting charged for this. The employers are not getting charged for this at all, any way, shape, or form. Because if they did, they would have fought it easily. They would have fought it, but I made sure that the employers were not getting charged for this at all, any way, shape, or form, which is good, basically for the business, basically, because they would put a lot of business out of business if they had to do that, especially with this package and that. So, yes, we will be spending the money back in the economy when time is right. When time is right, we will be spending, like I said, we will be spending this money back in the economy, or we can probably help someone else with their unemployment situation, maybe give them a little donation here and there or something like that. Who knows, and that. But if you're doing unemployment, just if you're still drawing unemployment, just be aware. Callbacks, soft openings are opening up. Companies are reopening. They're calling back their employees. Don't try to attempt to skirt around this because the government's going to make sure that if you get called back to work and you said no, and the employers knows it, and you said no, that's a voluntary quit, and you will lose your benefits regardless, unless there's some exceptions when it comes to COVID-19, which basically if you're diagnosed with it, have a household with it, or you're taking care of a loved one with it, or if you just got a flat out lack of transportation because of they're reducing hours or not running certain routes at all for public transportation. So make sure you guys communicate with your employer with your situation, but make sure you have proof. Make sure you gotta come up with proof on your end, basically. So that is it. Like I said, I talked to my workers. They love the package. They said it got them out of debt. They finished up whatever payments they had to make. They done it. They're all caught up on their payments with this money, and now they're just backing up extra funds in case of something else comes happen. But right now, even I talked to a person who works a full-time job, didn't pay a whole lot. I mean, they were pulling in. With their regular unemployment plus the $600. They were pulling in almost close to $1,400 a week. That includes their regular unemployment and that. And this is for people who's making up to, I think it was only valid for people who makes up to $75,000 a year, basically. So anybody who makes under $75,000 a year was guaranteeing this unemployment. If anybody who made more than $75,000, you probably have to fight for it a little bit in case you're a little short. Maybe you got that mortgage payment way too high. Maybe your lifestyle is too rich or something like that. Maybe you got to make cuts on your end on that. But for people who scrapping and scraping to get by, I tell you what, this is if they were smart enough, they pay off their debts and all that stuff and save the extra money to set aside for rent and bills. Actually, it wouldn't hurt to if you're able to pay your light bills online, build up a credit line, build up a big credit. Pay normal than you hire do. This is what I do. This is what I did. Basically, I paid more than what my bill calls for. This way, I leave a credit, a little bit behind the credit. So this way, now they can credit you the overage. If you pay over your bill, you get a little credit off your next bill, and just continue paying over until they say, you know what, I'm not going to pay it in 1 month because it's going to be paid off anyways. There you go. That's how you work off your. Just make sure that's one good way to keep your lights on, and that. So I say I got companies that really encourage me to pay a little bit more and use the change to build a credit. This way, if you're a little on a shortfall, you're covered, and that's a good idea on that end. Okay, right now we're just, hey, Toys for Tots, how you doing? People are making more money on unemployment than working. Yes, it is true. It is true, but here's the idea. That here in Iowa, we got some people called back to work. Right now, some are answering the call to go back to work, so they're taking a huge, gigantic pay cut. Basically, that's what it is, a pay cut, just to go back to work and that. But if you use the unemployment money wisely, and like I said, we had our debts already paid off. All our debts were paid off before we got laid off about a month ago, basically. And we work part-time jobs, and we use part-time jobs to help. It covers what we need because, hey, we don't have no kids. We don't have no grandkids, just nieces and nephews, and most of them are getting too old to pay for. So basically, the extra money that we got is basically we're just saving it for a nest egg for a nice trip. We're just going to bump that trip that we had planned if things opens up a lot better, basically. But yeah, it's nice to have the extra money. I mean, yeah, extra $600 a night. Yeah, that is $600 per week plus the regular unemployment during this COVID-19 deal. So a lot of people I talked to, not just getting their $600 a week, not just getting their $600 a week, Plus, they're also getting their regular unemployment from their regular full check. So some people is making, if you are smart enough to let the government take out taxes, taxes has to be taken. You have to pay taxes on that money. So if you get all this, the state to withhold taxes on that money. So let's say I'm only getting 500 out of 600, $90 is taxed for federal and state. I'm only getting 510. That's still a good hunk of money. Plus whatever I was eligible for unemployment gross, I'm making maybe 20% less than that on top of that. So I could make, just throw out a wild number. I'm making around about maybe just under $700 a week on unemployment. I couldn't do that on 2 weeks. I could barely do that on almost a month of working, 1 month of working part time, and that. But like I said, we're not really spending that here, so yeah, it's about that's about it here too. Yeah, uh, yeah. It's just, I mean, it's it was like extra money in our pockets, and I said, I already, and the beautiful thing was, I was already out of debt. I had an Amazon debt. I had that paid off in January. I just paid off the credit card debt in February, and we got laid off in first part of April. So I had all my debts paid off. So all my credit card debts, they on both Amazon and Capital One, that's all paid off. So I don't have no payments on that. I'm zero debt on, no debts on that. So it's just extra money. And they say money buys happiness. Well, I'm not happy because I got no place to spend it. And yeah, so yeah, so we got a nice little. We got Angie and I. We got a nice little nest egg. Right as of right now, it's usually takes us a long time to scrap and scrape, almost 8 months or longer to scrap and scrape that much for a trip, just a basic trip, like going out of town to do what we want to do for let's say 7 to 9 days. It takes us almost 6 to 9 months to scrap and scrape that for that money. Now, our if things open up, if things open up now, if things does open up now, our trip is paid for already. Our trip is really paid for, and if we use our credit card, we'll pay off our credit card on top of that, and still have money left over. So we'll have money towards our next year's trip. All we have to do is just save a little bit more than that. One less thing to stress about during this time. Yep, that's one thing we have less worry about. And that because I don't have to worry about missing rent because our rent is relatively low. Because Angie and I, we split our rent in half. So we don't pay, here our rent is relatively cheap per month. I'm going to give you an idea. It's less than $550 a month, just to rent one bedroom apartment here in Iowa. Now, if this was California, you're talking about maybe $2,000 for this type of apartment in California, or maybe close to 900 to $1,000 in other big cities for this size apartment per month, or maybe more. So the advantage is being in a small community that we live in, the cost of living is relatively low, relatively next to cheap. Basically, it's it's a good deal. Basically, I'm not the only one taking advantage of it. I talked to a lot of my former coworkers. I talked to other people who actually work full-time jobs. Some are starting to go back as early as this week. Unfortunately, they said they have to give up their employment. I say, remember, unemployment goes back a week, so you make sure you file for your last week because it's all retroactive. So just like your paychecks, it gets hold back a week. Unemployment, same thing, hold back a week. So make sure when you file your things up above, make sure you're truthful on that, 100%, and all that. If you're currently hired by somebody else, you gotta let them know how much you're making your estimate income. They want to know your gross estimate income that's going to be, and this way they'll adjust your thing and they'll decide if you'll be eligible for unemployment benefits or not. And sometimes if you make too much, you'll be cut off, basically. So the hand just got cut off. But yeah, I really missed working basically, and Angie missed working. I think we all miss working. But is people going to cheat on this system to keep the benefits going? They're going to make every attempt. Some people is going to make every attempt. We're not one of them, because with my damn luck, we'll be caught red-handed, basically, if we attempted it. And our employer likes us back anyway. Our employer literally loves us to have us back. And, going from a generous unemployment package to working hard for nothing, for next to nothing, I'll take that all the time, because at least you're earning your money. I'll tell you what, for being unemployed at the time, this is one drawback I had, and I'll show you real quick. And that I'm going to show you real quick here. Yeah, look at that girth I gained during the unemployment. That's just the last month. Look at that girth. That's just, I gained a lot of weight during this unemployment. So, and because of this pandemic and weather is not not able to cooperate, I was unable to take any walks I needed. Actually, the weather right now is going to hold off pretty good. So I'll probably get a nice, decent walk in today after this. You have abs now. Yeah. Uncut girth, like some people says. I miss Ava. Yeah, I miss. Yeah, we kind of right now here in Iowa. Things are opening up slowly. Not everything is 100% open. A lot of churches will still do this past yesterday. Churches, for those who's delaying, watches on a delay. This past Sunday, for us was yesterday. They were still doing online services, and some restaurants are open, but the dining rooms are still closed. They're allowed to open up the dining rooms up to 50% of capacity. And I said, if your fire marshal, let's do simple math. If the fire marshal allows 100 people to be in that one restaurant, and the government says, well, you're allowed to be open and open your dining room, you can only do 50% capacity, or what's 50% capacity of 100 people and allowed to be in there any one time? It's 50 people. As long as you're able to spread them out, that's all you have to do, is able to spread them out. Hand sanitizers, all the rules go apply. Face mask, everything, all the rules has to go apply to make sure. And if you're not, let's say, 100% comfortable going back, let's say talk to your employer. It's between the employee and employer. But remember this, there's a lot of people looking for work, and you can get replaced real easy. So if you really like your job, I would say go back to it. If you're getting up there in age, you really need to keep that job. Yeah, you need to go back once upon call. Right now, basically, I don't know. We're looking at May 15th here from ourselves at the earliest, but in reality, we're looking at June 1st. But I think in all cases, it could go until July 1st. The type of work that we do, basically, and that it's still a pretty bad idea. Mask orders throughout the entire state to take out food only. A lot of restaurants are closed anyway. Yep, yeah, a lot of people is closed. This is why people learn Business 101. Business 101 that we learned in school. We learned this in school. And we learned this through some of the YouTube videos, talk about wrestling companies. Let's bring a wrestling company, for example. Rule number one, if you're going to open up a business, they say take care of yourself first. That's rule number one in Business 101. Take care of yourself first. Make sure you're taken care of. Then it falls down the line. Because remember, you got expenses you got to do. You got your home expenses. You got your business expenses, you got expenses, and the last thing down the line is whatever you got is you pay your employees, and after that is profits, basically what it is. Yep. Business employees. Yep. It's over when employers get to pick their employees and don't burn the bridges. Yep. That's one thing. Don't burn bridges. Basically, don't never burn any bridge with your employer, because like I said, Business 101, the employees are going to take care of themselves. Right now, our employer, reason they're staying closed right now, because they did the right thing for Business 101. They took care of themselves. They built up enough profits that they can wait it out. Then when they do need to reopen, they'll be ready to go. If it's not open 100%, they'll be ready to go. I think they're waiting for. I think for us, they're waiting to see the business allowed to open 75% and everything else do certain stuff. Right now, the buffet restaurants are still closed until further notice. I think we're involved in that employment. I can't say where, who, when, or what, and that I can't confirm it or deny it. Basically, just not going to talk about it. All right, because we're not entitled to talk about it. Basically, all we're saying is we will be back upon when we get called for. Basically, we'll be the first ones in line to get called for because we wash dishes, and of all the youngs with the two old farts, we wash dishes faster than any younger kid they had working there. Basically, we just boom, boom, boom. We wash them and make sure they're washed good, and we just bang them out. We just bang them out real fast. I mean, I can barely break a sweat, and here I'm watching a 20-year-old coworker. He's sweating the storm, can't keep up. I step in and I go boom, 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 run the dishes and that. So yeah, and that. So. And we get paid pretty good for part time too. So we get paid pretty good part time for even a part time job, and it pays what we need and that. Still paid for us, but right now with this unemployment, I don't see going into debt anytime soon. We'll probably take a decent vacation when things opens up, and when things and basically we'll have our trip paid for next year already. Part of the trip is already paid for next year already. That we plan to do. So, yep. Okay, we're going to wrap this up. Basically, for the ones who are collecting this unemployment, if you're living relatively on the cheap, basically, if you're in a big city, this may not help you at all because your rent's probably your rent is very high. You're probably still struggling. Yes, I get that because in bigger cities, it may not be enough, basically, especially if you live out in California or big cities where housing markets is through the roof. Especially in California, it's ridiculous. You know, just real quick here, I saw a house that's up for sale. They want almost over $600,000, and that very same house will be scheduled to be torn down next week here in town. For that very same house. It'd be scheduled to be torn down. So imagine having a house borderline being condemned or a condemned house, and they want $600,000 for it. That tells you how bad the housing market is in California is. That's really bad out there when you got a condemned house and they want over $500,000 for it. That tells you one thing. I mean, you can get a fixer up here. You can get the very same fixer up here just for less than $5,000 basically and that. So yeah, if you're going to be collecting unemployment, make sure that make sure your rent is paid, your light bill is paid. Make sure your internet, if you have internet and all that extra service, renter's insurance, make sure that's all paid. Then use what's left and save it for a nest egg. Save it for a nest egg in case let's say if you had a little shortfall when you do go back to work or something like that. And basically live within your budget, live within your means and that. That's probably be the best advice, live within your means. Right now, we feel like we want to live by million. We like to live like a millionaires, but we can't because we don't want to do it. Yeah, hey, get this. Yeah, I saw this meme on Facebook this morning. You can legally poop in the streets of Chicago. Well, I probably do in Chicago anyway. But you can legally poop in the streets of California. But if you're not doing it without a face mask, you're going to get fined for not having a face mask. They don't care about you pooping in the public. But if you don't have a face mask while doing it, you're going to get fined for that. So just be careful. California is screwy. I mean, California is so left wing over there. I mean, far left, stupid. And they say the best way to help the unemployment situation, ban the straws, ban plastic bags. That really helps the unemployment. You just create more unemployment over there. So yeah, that's why California is screwy and that. So I don't know. Too many tree huggers over there. Okay, Angie is hungry. I gotta go feed her. She's getting up from her nap. Okay, like I said, for the ones who are collecting unemployment, uh, take advantage of it. When your employer calls you back to go to work, when your employer calls you and says, "Hey, I want to have you back," uh, take because of the job market's the way it is. Go back to work once they call. All right. Once things is back to normal, then you move on to something else if you want. But take when the employer gets calls back, call. Right now, our employer has not called back. We're expecting this call back for us, maybe as early as next week. Keep our fingers crossed. Knock on wood. If not, we're looking at possibly late June or maybe going into July. As far as we know, we will be called back regardless, 100%, because they enjoyed our employment. Right now, stay safe out there. If you're on lockdown, too bad. But get some exercise anyway. Protect yourself as all possible. Cover your cough, cover your sneeze. And for Christ's sakes, get a haircut like I need to get a shave too. But do it yourself. All right, we're out of here. Be safe, everybody. Please like, share, subscribe, don't hit the subscribe button, notification bell. We're out of here.